Hey, good day everybody. This is day 52. This is a zero at Uncle Johnny's hostel here in Irwin. The Appalachian Trail actually comes down right to the hostel. Then you cross over the Nola-Chucky River and then back up. We've heard that Hot Springs is on fire. And Rowan Mountain's on fire. It shouldn't interfere with the Appalachian Trail, and the Shenandoahs are also on fire, and part of the park is closed. So some things are happening out there, which is unfortunate. There's a hiker feed going on across the river. I'm going to head over there in a little bit. It's sponsored by a church, so we're going to go over and get some free food and enjoy that. One of the questions that has come up that I thought I would address is about me switching from a hammock to a tent and why. I think the simplest answer is probably I panicked. The first 4 days and then into Neil's Gap, it's a very difficult hike. 20% of the people give up during that section. My pack was too full and it was too heavy, and I was having a hard time at some of those first camping sites finding a place to actually hang the hammock. Because even though yes, you can hang a hammock over uneven terrain, you still have to have a place underneath it to put your gear, and then if you're on a slope and things slide. And I remember I was at one of the first nights. It was at the Hawk Mountain campsites that they had made, and having a really hard time finding a place to hang. And by the time I did, I was on a slope, snow, my gear kept sliding away. It took me 2.5 hours to actually get out of camp that day. So that was a little discouraging. And coming down out of Sassafras, there was some Trail Magic, and MacGyver and No Name were sponsoring that. And as we were talking, and I was going through, because he was asking me about my hammock setup and the weights and everything, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, my big Agnes is less than 2 pounds, and so between my tarp and my hammock and the underquilt, I was probably pushing 4 pounds and not having enough, space in the pack. So that kind of set in my mind. The gal that was at Emmacola Falls that was talking about, your pack's 44 pounds, it needs to be about 30, and so that was in the back of my mind. And so by the time I got to Neil's Gap, I'd hurt myself coming down Blood Mountain at my right knee, and so I took a zero there, and that gave me some time to go over to mountain crossings, and I kind of got talked into the Fly Creek that I'm in. I had a pad already, an inflatable pad, because I thought I misunderstood that in the Smokies you had to be in the shelters and that you weren't allowed to use hammocks at all if you had to stay in a tent, and that's not true. I could have used the hammock. So there was some factors there, and basically I panicked into talking myself out of the hammock and sent it home. Have I been comfortable in a tent? There's some advantages. I'm not really, I'm sleeping okay for the most part. I would like to get my hammock back. I need to plan on when that's going to happen. I still want to try and figure out how to get more weight out of my pack. And I got to tell you, for this next section, 5 days of food, my food weighs too much. I'm trying to do real food. A lot of the dehydrated stuff is just tearing me up. So and stuff that's not dehydrated weighs. So I'm still struggling with the pack weight. If I'm under 40, then I'm happy. Right now, I probably would speculate that if I weigh my pack for tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little bit more than I want it to be on this next section. So I'm still struggling with that. I'm still kind of, of course, I've still got my winter sleeping gear, which includes, a smart wool bottom, a Patagonia top. I've got the extra socks. So there's space volume in the pack that's being taken up by some winter sleeping gear that I can maybe offload at Parisburg, and maybe get my hammock set up back then. So anyway, a long answer to a question of why, and the short answer is I panicked. But I needed to do something, and psychologically it needed to be something significant, and that allowed me to do that. So because this is a physical endeavor, but it's just as much mental too, as I'm finding out. And the other day I let myself get beat up and get down, but you know, it's very, very wise. You know, you never quit on a bad day, and you know, if you decide you're going to quit, give it 3 days and just keep going. And the only time I ever thought about quitting was at the Deep Gap shelter, 1.5 miles from Springer, in the middle of that snowstorm. That next morning, man, I was ready to pack it in. I'm glad I didn't, because I'm really enjoying this. I feel good. I feel alive, and I'm enjoying everything. So. All right, we're gonna save a little bit of this for the hiker feed maybe, and let you see what it's about. So I'm gonna head over there. We'll see you in a minute. Bye. All right, this is what it looks like coming up to the hiker feed.